This man did not just kill his wife, he butchered her like an animal. It all started on Monday morning, March 10th, 2025. It started like any other day in Oron local government area of Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. But before the sun even rose, something happened inside a house on Effiong Esang Street that would leave the entire community in shock. A 42-year-old man, Victor Okoh, woke up, picked up a sharp cutlass, and did the unthinkable to his wife, 38-year-old Victoria Okoh. According to reports, it all started in the early hours of that morning. Victor was still half asleep when his phone rang. He checked the screen, but the call had already ended. Curious to know who was calling him so early, he tried calling the number back, only to realize he had no airtime. That's when he reached for his wife's handbag to borrow her phone and make the call. After finishing his call, he went to return the phone to her bag. But that was when his whole world changed. As he placed the phone back inside, his eyes caught something unusual. A pack of condoms. At first, he froze. But then, as he looked closer, his heart started racing. Right there, inside his wife's bag, was also an empty sachet, a used condom wrapper. Everything inside him boiled with anger. His hands shook as he grabbed the bag and stormed towards their bed. He yanked the covers off his wife, shaking her awake. "Victoria, what is this?" He held up the condoms in her face. Still half asleep, Victoria tried to grab the bag from him, but Victor wasn't letting go. "Answer me, what are these doing in your bag? Who have you been sleeping with?" Maybe she was caught off guard. Maybe she didn't give him the answer he was expecting. Maybe she tried to dismiss it. But whatever she said or didn't say only made things worse. The argument started and it escalated fast. Voices rose, accusations flew, anger took over. And then Victor snapped. He stormed out of the room, grabbed a sharp cutlass, and returned with only one thing on his mind: violence. Before Victoria could react, before she could even process what was happening, the first blow landed. A deep, merciless cut, then another and another. She screamed for help, begging him to stop. But Victor was no longer himself. He kept cutting and cutting her like she was nothing more than a piece of meat. Blood splattered across the room, staining the walls, the floor, his own hands. By the time neighbors rushed in, it was too late. But what he did next was even more horrifying. As if killing her was not enough, Victor took things further. He slices her hands. Then one by one, he chopped off her fingers. It was no longer anger. It was pure, cold-blooded evil. And after all that, he did not run. He did not even try to escape. He simply dropped the cutlass, walked back inside, and locked himself in the house. Shocked neighbors immediately called the police. When officers arrived and broke in, they searched everywhere. At first, he was nowhere to be found. Then they looked up and there he was, hiding in the ceiling like a trapped rat. They dragged him down, arrested him on the spot, and took him to the station. Meanwhile, Victoria's lifeless body was taken to the morgue. But here's where things get even more disturbing. Some people claim Victor is a pastor in a well-known Pentecostal church. In fact, they say he even preached in church just the day before on Sunday. Others insist he was just an ordinary church girl. But does it really matter? Pastor or not, what he did was pure wickedness. Now let's ask ourselves, how does a man take a cutlass and butcher his own wife like this? Even if she was cheating, was this the solution? If you're tired of your marriage, why not walk away? If you can no longer trust your partner, why not leave and find peace elsewhere? Marriage is not by force. Love is not by force. If someone is making you miserable, you have two choices: talk about it or leave. But taking another human life, that is something you can never undo. And let's be honest, this kind of evil does not start in one day. A man does not just wake up and become a monster overnight. There were red flags. Maybe he had anger issues before. Maybe he was always suspicious. Maybe they had been having unresolved issues for years. But one thing is clear, this marriage was broken long before that Monday morning. This is why both men and women must be careful in choosing a partner. Love is important, but it is not enough. Does your partner have self-control? Can they handle their emotions? How do they react when things don't go their way? These are the questions people must ask before committing to marriage. And to the men, if a woman is giving you problems, if you feel betrayed, if you feel hurt, walk away. Divorce is better than murder. It is better for people to call you a divorced man than for the police to call you a murderer. Ladies, be careful of controlling and violent men. If a man is always jealous, always accusing you of things, always angry, do not ignore the signs. Many women have lost their lives because they stayed in toxic marriages, thinking things would get better. If a man is violent before marriage, he will be violent after marriage. Do not ignore red flags. As the police continue their investigation, we wait to see what will happen next. But the question remains, what should be done to Victor Okoh? Should the law let him walk free, or should he face the full consequences of his actions? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to share this. May we all choose wisely in life. Stay safe,